We are back. Obviously not at IGP. We said we were going to, but just with schedules. Jason and I have some stuff for Poppy Verde coming up next weekend. So I really needed to be home tonight to take care of some stuff for that. So IGP got pushed out another couple weeks. We'll figure that out. But it's going to be a short episode just because, like I said, I certainly have some stuff I need to do in dad life, man. Casey was at Trips Lacrosse until like 10 minutes ago. I had the other two, cooked dinner, got Bella to bed, scrambled to get upstairs. So it's been one of those. So we'll keep it nice, short, sweet. Recap last week. I want to hear all about Jason's golf season that's picked up for the team. Also some of your tournament stuff. I know we've kind of texted about what you got going on as far as when certain tournaments are for the Grint Tour. So yeah, let's get into this. What any thoughts on our hour and a half long golf tangent of a conversation with Colin? Because there's a lot of information.
It was a lot. And here's the thing. We've talked about this. We barely scratched the surface of what goes into everything to get dialed in to be an elite golfer on the equipment side, like having that all geared up. But all the information is definitely valid. Like he even put it plainly. He's like, if you're going to go get fitted for a suit, you're going to pay one time to get fitted and you'll have it for hopefully 5 years, 6 years. Obviously outside of body changes, health issues, like obviously swing mechanics, but if you stay true to form for the most part, get fit for a couple $100 and then buy new gear, depending on what the gear is. It could get expensive, but you can also piece it together and spread it out. And again, for a small investment, you'll enjoy the game better. And of course, if that's what your goal is, to enjoy it and also to get better, why not go through that process? I know you guys tease me about it, and I've gone through just my own changes and looking forward to getting a fitting here probably sooner than later. I've been slowly just being able to get some reps in just with practice with the boys. I'll get out, just take a wedge, mid iron, long iron, and just slowly keep working the mechanics, get the body moving again, and seeing a lot of progress, definitely feeling better going through it. Muscles are definitely still being activated in a different way, in a good way, and trying to build that consistency. So I feel more comfortable investing, knowing that I'm pretty close to probably something that is not going to harm me if I do get a fit. Because I know that's one of the questions that a lot of people are always going to ask. Well, if I spend $100, $200 to get fit, spend another 1,000 on just say irons, just to make it easy. Oh, but I'm still going through the process now. My game's different. I go get refit. I need another set maybe, or shafts. That's another $500, $600. So I get that. That's kind of where I've always been bounced around with. Well, if I do a little bit now, I get better, then I'm going to have to pay more to get refitted again. But you have to trust the process, and knowing that these guys probably have seen it long enough that once you're probably fit, they're probably not going to need you to get fit again unless, like I said, something dramatically happens. So again, a lot of great information, and I'm looking forward to going into the process. Colin is obviously a Cobra rep, and he says he doesn't push it, but of course I'd be the one that goes in. He's like, yeah, those 3D printed Cobras, they give you the best numbers with Axiom graphite shafts, $4,000 for a new set of irons. I can just see that happening.
I'll touch on that in a second. But you're 100% correct on, we barely scratched the surface, and it is such an individual journey, a club process, because everyone really is different. And I think the general baseline is, we said at the end of that conversation, is at least go do a club fitting, or sorry, a club spec or a gapping session. Because in either one of those scenarios, you'll at least figure out loft to lie dynamics so that you can get something that works with you to some extent. Meaning, I can at least know that I'm going to hit the ball relatively straight, and it might help my dispersion because, like, you had your clubs upright by 2 degrees, and that was definitely hurting your swing a little bit. So if you're not going to go get fit, at least go do that so that your clubs can be somewhat meant a little bit more for you. But on that note, if you get fit at the right time, your clubs really should last. I got fit for my Strixons when I was a 9 handicap. And I ended up taking that all the way until this past year when I was a +1. And the only reason I got new ones was because, again, I
Mhm.
I had a deal come, whatever. But even aside, I did need new shafts. I knew that mine were way too stout for the tempo that I'm swinging now versus 5 years ago or 4 years ago when I got those Strixons. But in theory, I'm playing the same set that I've been playing for 5 years, right? I went from ZX7s to ZXI7s, right? I did get the forged on the bottom half. So some nuances, but what I got fit into when I was a 9 still worked for me as a +1. And I think that's the case. Like, I think people think this fitting is like, I can't do it until I'm perfect. No,
Yes.
there is exactly a point, and we kind of touched on. There's a point in which a good fitter will fit you for where you're at right now and where you're going,
Mhm.
right? And if they know, and I guess that's a good thing about a place like IGP, they're a part of your journey. It's not just they won't ever throw anyone else under the bus. I will. There's all of these other big boxes, PJ Superstore, and all these other guys that they're there to sell. I don't know if they make commission, whatever. I don't care. But they're big box. They care about production. IGP cares about the client. So
Yeah.
that's my
No,
big push for them. And they're part of a journey, not just selling you clubs.
totally agree. Like I said, like even with just the minor changes and Ben dropping them back down to a standard lie, when you're hitting it well because now I'm striking it. They feel better when I'm striking it. Flight is perfect. Like if I mess up, it's because I know I mechanically did something mess
Mhm.
bad in the swing versus the club being out of place. But when you use the mats, you look at the bottom of the sole, you see the green
Yeah.
plasticky streaks. Mine are actually sitting all pretty flush through the bottom of the sole. They're not digging on one end or the other. And like I said, my flight is pretty much dead straight with barely a little fade or a baby draw. Like everything is in line when I know I'm swinging good. And so I'm like,
Well,
okay, that is a good process. I'm already moving in the right direction.
one, I think what people should care about from a perspective like that on loft and lie, don't even think about the back 3/4 of your ball flight. What does that first 25% of your ball flight look like? Is it launching roughly at the same launch? Obviously, 8 iron versus 7 iron. Don't do that. But if you're using the same club, is it launching at the same? And are you hitting it directionally? Horizontal launch, the same.
Hmm.
I mean, as long as you're doing those two things, you can figure out your dispersion pretty quick. So
Yeah.
I think those are the big things that matter that, if you're not going to a fitter, but you can at least see, okay, do I need new
Yeah.
clubs or am I in a place? If you are launching it within a good window, you could probably go get fit and you'll be fine.
Yeah. The biggest thing I think right now, I mean, if okay, so as I go and get fit, I go the direction I definitely, I think, want to try to at least push on them, and it may not work. Getting the fitting is going to graphite shafts.
Yeah.
Um, I think just feeling it, having messed with it a little bit, and then now I'm even seeing, and we'll get this to like a little bit later, but even at some of the recent tournaments, I'm seeing these top high school players graphite through their whole iron shaft, their iron set, and I kind of ask them like, why'd you change? And they're obviously the feel. They're still getting the same consistency, but one thing he talked about, the player, was the weight distribution felt
Mhm.
different and it felt better. And of
Yeah.
course, the benefits of graphite feeling smoother, easier on the joints, all that stuff. And obviously, getting older, just not playing consistently enough. That would be my push for them is let's focus on graphite. Let's see if that's something that could fit for me and my tempo and everything, if there's something there. And then maybe if he's like, man, you need to switch out irons, then that'll be a whole nother discussion because it
Yeah.
might need to be gapped out differently. And the only reason why I say that is I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, I played a quick 9 at Oak Hollow. The first par five, I think number 6, hit a great drive just onto the right side. I was like 230 or 240 out, took my 7 wood, put it right on the edge of the green. And
Yeah.
it was a high ball flight and it dropped. So I'm sitting here going, okay, my 7 is getting there, which is typically 21. I think it's a 21 loft. So about a 4 iron. And then I go to a 5 iron, but my 5 iron maybe at best gets 200.
Yeah.
So that is a huge problem. So
Yeah.
I either need to get better at hitting the 5-iron, or maybe a reshaft could just help that difference, or obviously a hollow body type thing, or 9-wood. I don't know. That's one major area I've already noticed with the swing improvement, that the woods have definitely picked up distance. It's just, can my irons now start to catch up, which the bottom half are starting to, but I know when we messed around with it, the wedges are still like, my loft is perfect, good number, but then my sand is like too close to that, and then it gaps out to
Yeah.
my gap width. So I do have some issues with all of that. And so again, loft changes, maybe some different iron configurations, and of course different shafts. So I have a lot of pieces. So he'll have his homework cut out for me to see where they could find a good blend that will work.
Yeah. No, you're 100% correct. And I'm, I'm due for a club spec gapping session as well. So I don't have nearly as much as you are, just because you're looking to get new clubs that fit you. Mine are obviously pretty fit. I only have a few question marks in the bag, so a little bit easier for me. But to touch on what you said earlier about kind of Colin selling the Cobra, or just, you were joking about a $4,000 set. I will tell you, in all of my time working with Colin, like, he's never pushed me to buy something. And there was actually, when I got fit for my driver last, there was a shaft that actually performed really well for me,
Mm.
but it was like, no joke, probably a $500-$600 shaft, not even the head. Like, I mean, you're talking this is a $1,100-$1,200 driver at this point. And,
Gosh. Was it an
it,
Autoflex or something like that?
yeah, it was an Autoflex.
Okay.
And it was, no, Oban.
Oban. Oh, that was my next question. The Airburst
Yeah.
Oban.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I've
was
seen
an
that
Oban.
one.
And I loved it. It performed well, but did it perform well enough for me to want to spend that? Even Colin was like, look, like, it's fun for you to hit it. Like, not many people get to hit that shaft, because you just have to be in a certain swing speed to make that one work. So there's only a select amount of people that are going to go in there and hit something like that. Um, so he's like, dude, like, it's fun to hit, but like, you don't need it. Like, we'll get close enough with something else that's
Right.
a third of the price. So like, he's really good about like telling you when the money makes sense and when it doesn't. And for
Yep.
me, like, I ended up buying an Acro, which is like a $300 shaft, not $800.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And obviously, I can't invest through the whole bag, and I don't know if I'll need to, but the first target area is the irons.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no question for me. It's got to be the irons need to be dialed in, however it's going to look.
Yeah, I'm interested to get in, because kind of where we tailed off on the fitting conversation, we started talking about the driver for me. Getting into a higher spin head, maybe like the Max, he said the GT2, the 10K, going to a 10 degree versus, because right now my driver's set up as a low launch, low spin kind of tumbler, 7 degrees, and I just can't control the thing. I just don't think I have near enough spin. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think honestly, I would, because what is it, a stock 8 or stock 9?
stock 9 turned down to 7.5 or 7.
Well, I would just take it right now and crank it to the 9, back to the 9, or maybe 9.5 or 10. Like, just mess with it. Just see what happens.
Just go
I know
all the
that
way up on
extra
the other
loft.
side. Yeah.
I mean, it might even just make at those 2 degrees probably could change a whole different world for you. That's for sure. It might even just give you enough
it'd be
spin
a
to keep it
4-degree
more in
switch from
line.
where I am now,
Yeah.
or a 3-degree switch, I guess. Whatever it is.
I mean,
No,
that's pretty
that's a great
significant.
experiment for me to go do. Yeah. No, that'd be a really good experience, or experiment. I mean, I'm cut down to 45 inches now just because I tend to like a shorter, like the longer shaft has always kind of thrown me off. I just need something that carries 310. I know that sounds really stupid. But if I can carry 305, 310 when my mini driver's carrying 285, then I have a weapon and it's usable.
Yeah. I mean,
So
there's no question your speed, ball speed, club speed match well above probably the tour average. So you definitely should be carrying an average of 295 plus on average. on a carry with like a 20-yard rollout, maybe depending on conditions and such, etc.
Yeah. That's the hardest thing when I watch the PGA Tour is I watch, they throw the metric of swing speed and ball speed, and I'm like, I'm not that far off of both those numbers. I mean, some of the top guys are hitting 185 plus ball speed. Mine's not that. Mine's closer to, the 175 range. But even at 175 ball speed, like I should get decent carry, and these guys are carrying it 15 yards farther than me. So, it's always annoying to watch
Right.
that.
It's like the math. Yeah. I said, yeah, the math doesn't add
Ho
up. Your numbers are this and doesn't fit quite right.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think that's kind of like where I notice it. It's like, oh, are we a little delayed? Oh,
Yeah.
that's kind of where I notice it. It's like my 3 or mini go as far as my driver. And so
Mhm.
just sitting there going like, okay, if those are going that far, because I know they're going that far based on, GPS on the map, but then my driver is only right there with it. So,
Yeah.
but I also know mechanically, I've already noticed a big difference not chicken winging it. Keeping my extension through my swing at the bottom is already added a better, truer spectrum of range.
Mhm.
So that is something I've been excited to see change.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm excited for you to go down the path in general. It's just exciting because I think, and I've talked to Colin about this. Like he says, he likes working with people that are high caliber from the sense of like they kind of know what they're looking for, and if they mishit one, they're like, "Oh no, I mishit that. Let me hit it again." They can generally do what they want with the ball. But I know he gets a lot more satisfaction out of working with guys that are, or guys and girls, clients that are, in that 5 to 15 handicap or even more, because you see the effects of the decision so much faster, and that's fun. Like you kind of get
Mhm.
that dopamine kick. So it's exciting to watch you go through this process because we're going to get to see real life. You're, a 12, 13 handicap. Can we get down to a 10 handicap with some pretty quick changes to the bag? Maybe. I mean, he said last week he had some people that shaved 4, 5, 6 strokes off their average pretty quick.
Yeah, I think the biggest part first was, as he discussed, get the Indian fixed.
Yeah.
And then that is definitely shaping up because I'm seeing better feels, better results, better control my flight. And then learning more about my setup, which was causing me to miss a lot of
Yeah.
greens because that's usually where I can get out in the fairway pretty safe with driver 3 mini, whatever. So that's never been a big issue, but then it's what's next. And then the
Yeah.
what's next is what kills me. And just the setup and learning how to swing properly into the ball, the striking is definitely improved. Now, just got to get the aim, and then with the aim, now understand my ball flight. That's new ball flight that is coming from these changes because it is looking different. So
Mhm.
all in a good directions. Nothing's straying or getting out of control. So yeah, it's exciting. Looking forward to putting a little bit of a test to it with my first ever tour tournament event coming up
When is your first one?
March 14th. So a few weeks.
Okay.
Saturday. It should be Saturday the 14th. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is a Saturday. I know that because, not to completely
Yep.
derail us. Yeah, 14th is Saturday. Yeah. No, I was saying I know that because, and not to completely derail us, but I got a text for, like some, um, girls will do like a wine, and like maybe they have like a boutique clothing company come over, and I got a text about something very similar. It's whiskey and bourbon, and then there's a custom like suit fitter that is doing jackets and custom shirts.
Oh, that actually sounds like a lot of fun.
I know. I was like, okay, like, and it's okay. So I was like, look, I really don't care. Like, I don't want to spend a lot of money right now, so I'm not looking to get a new suit. But I have lost 45 pounds, so like all of my dress shirts are pretty big on me. Um, my suits, my suits definitely don't fit. Some of my sport coats are fine; they work. So I'm kind of due for something. I was like, whatever, I'll go have a drink, maybe get a custom shirt and move on. But anyways, that it's just funny because you said the 14th and that's the same day as that. So that keyed in pretty quick for me.
Yeah, that's funny you mentioned the clothing because I need to get back in shape, but I also know I need to update my wardrobe. So I'm using Stitch Fix again.
All
Just
right,
like, hey, throw me some
no problem.
stuff. Let's just see what you can come up with because I do need to upgrade some stuff. And just
Yeah.
not just more, not so much size wise, but I just need some refresh.
Yeah, I'm honestly not far off that, but like we're at sports so much that I'm going from work clothes to run outside with the kids, and I need more jeans and stuff like that. But whatever, we're off to get into summer in Texas, so that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, is there,
Athleisure.
yeah, is there anything that we didn't talk about last week that you kind of thought, I wish I would have asked, or I wish we would have talked about?
There was one thing, and I don't know, I kind of bounced with it in my head. He talked about obviously all these new drivers, all the new tech. Like, let's just stay with all the 460 head sizes. Obviously, Ping, and I think Ping is technically still the one that's advertising the 4K Max
Mhm.
deal. But at some point, I'm just wondering, is the forgiveness that much different now between TaylorMade, Callaway, Ping, Titleist, when you're talking about like kind of that same range, like the
Yeah.
440 Max versus like even the Triple Diamond Max that he mentioned, and then whatever the Max Cobra. And so it's like, is there a significant difference? And he's like, if it's like no, then okay, then it comes down to then what feel and looks. So it's kind of weird to kind of think about like they have these 10Ks, but I'm like, is it or 10K Max, whatever they call, is it really that much different? And he might say yes, but I don't know. Like, I really don't know if there is genuinely that much between them, between all the different companies.
Yeah, I mean, I can almost assuredly tell you he's not going to say yes or no. He's going to say it depends.
It depends. Yep. That's why I didn't ask it.
Yeah,
I was just like, it goes, it
yeah,
depends. What are you looking for? Do you want forgiveness? Do
yeah,
you want
exactly.
distance? Do you want?
Yeah, he's.
Yeah.
But
So
I
other than
agree
that,
with
yeah,
you.
I mean,
I'd be interested to know that too.
realistically, I don't think that I really had any other questions.
Yeah, the only thing that I wish we would have gotten into that we didn't is training aids with the PGA show. There's always this influx of all of these like training aids and things you can do. So from a coach's perspective, I would have loved to understand as people are trying to better their games, what are the training aids that you may or may not endorse more than others? Which ones are complete gimmicks? That would have been just a fun conversation. And again, he's probably going to say, it depends. What's your problem? What do you want to fix? But I think there are some that are just straight ridiculous,
Yeah.
and then there's some that make a lot of sense that can work for virtually anyone. So that would have been kind of fun to have that conversation with him and get a coach's perspective on, the thousands of training aids that get released at the PGA show.
Yeah. I mean, I know Ben and I have talked and we haven't touched base since his baby, but I know he's talked to the Mach 3 guys, and they're the ones that have a bunch of different swing tools, the weighted swing bars or tools, the
Mhm.
rope with the handle. They really they really support those, and because it gives you the ability to still mechanically go through a golf swing, but really feel the work that it actually takes to move the needle. And
Yeah.
that's something that we're definitely, I think I'm gonna look into using the booster club to help invest in for the team and go through those motions because right now I don't have a lot of training aids except for a few different ones because some guys are just wow, you need to understand the basic foundation of being connected. So I got that connector foam thing and it's helping the kids just learn how to connect because I got to find stuff that I can give them that all right, here it is. Here's how you use it. All right, practice it. Now I got to go over here. So
Mhm.
there's can't have the same one-on-one effect with 12 kids at the same time that are all different levels. So, yeah, I'd be curious to see like, hey, you need to use this for these kids, especially if they're middle of the road. And then here's some things that you can use that they're really advanced, but they need just a little bit more help to kind of sequence things a little bit better. So, yeah, that'd be a great conversation. Maybe we're in the studio next time and they have some stuff they could show us.
Yeah, absolutely. There we go. Oh, That's I was looking at my stuff and it was looking fine, but now it's dropped. It'll be fine.
I think it all piece. I
Yeah, no,
just
I heard.
held on. I just waited.
Yeah, no, I heard what you were saying. It's yeah, the biggest thing that I um think, like, at least from a training aid, like, too, like the putting, because there's so many putting gimmicks that are out there too. So like, I'm pretty basic mirror chalk line, but is there other stuff, right? So I just think that would have been fun to kind of talk through some of the gearhead side of the training aids. But you are talking about your team. How is season going?
We've had 2 tournaments for varsity. One of them, I think we chatted a little bit that we were at Tour 18 and it was the wind
Hmm.
was so bad. And but part of me is, well, these other teams played in the same wind and they still managed to shoot better. Like,
Yeah.
but I know it was really brutal. Like in some instances, it was dead in the wind to maybe 2, 3 clubs difference. And my team's young and they just don't have the experience. My top guy shot pretty well on that day. And then the last one we was at our home course, some of the guys did really well. And then a couple others just didn't do terrible, but definitely we're not on. So got a couple more, got one next week, one after that, and then within districts. So we'll
Oh wow.
see. Realistically, as a team, there's no way we can compete with the other schools. So it's really, if we're going to have anybody out of districts, it'd be my one guy who could has the ability to easily get out, but he's kind of going through some demons right now too. Just they're not like bad misses, but he's definitely going through some quirks that we'll have to try to get ironed out in a
Yeah.
couple weeks.
No, that's always tough. What is his problem right now?
The way he describes it is for some reason, he doesn't know why, he just gets in these weird funks where his setup feels off, which it doesn't look off,
Yep.
and then it could be his sequencing. He's saying he just feels stuck, and then the face just gets left
Okay.
open a little bit. And I was watching him, and it's like, his timing is a little off, but again, I'm not sure what he's feeling compared to what he's seeing. So tomorrow, gonna do some video and um, see what we're looking at and see maybe. And the good thing with him, and it's like even you and I, we can look at the video and we could definitely see the minute things. It's like, oh my gosh, that's what it is. Oh, all right, and then now we understand it and we can adjust and make the change and apply it.
Is this one of your players that has an outside coach?
He does, not a full-time outside coach. He works with a
Okay.
guy down in Sherrill Park,
Okay.
um, but the coach only works with elite junior golfers and elite golfers. So you have to be at a certain level before he'll even talk to you.
So he's not really working with this guy full time.
No, so I don't know if we can't. I think if something does kind of still stick out with him over this next week during spring break, just like, hey, get an appointment with your guy. Like, he knows your swing. Like, maybe it's not your swing. Maybe it's something in your head, and your head is now transferring that thought to your swing.
Get him over to Ben.
I mean, that's why I try to get Ben over, and unfortunately, life, dad stuff, in
Yeah.
general, life got in the way, and weather got in the way, and
Yeah.
it would have been nice to get him in there before our season really took off. And now it's like we'll have to do postseason, which is still opportunity for these guys to improve. But yeah, it would have been good to get him in front of them before we really kick
Yeah. But
off.
even postseason, it's really good to get them in
Yep.
because they have so much time to make swing changes between. I mean, you're saying districts is what, early April. So
But no, it's
between,
it's right after spring
between,
break.
I guess, late March. So
Yeah.
between April 1st and, August 1st, you got 5 months there that you can really 4 months there that you can really make some good changes. So, hopefully
Yeah.
some of those guys will decide
Well,
to go see Ben and
I'm pretty sure there's a couple of them that can do it. I mean, I know they can afford to do it. But
yeah,
I was just hoping my number 1 guy can do it, get in, which he could still do it because he's bouncing with colleges, nothing D1, but it's all great opportunities, but they're not all the schools that he was kind of feeling for. So, he's still kinda shopping and trying to figure out how to get to the level to get a little bit more noticed, and that's a whole 'nother avenue that I've talked to him and started working on with him.
And this is a whole nother conversation that we probably don't have time to get into tonight, but I don't think there's anything bad with going D2 on college because one, you knock out all of your electives probably a much lower cost.
Oh yeah.
All of your core classes you can kind of knock out. But I mean, you look at any of these guys, and I could be completely talking out of my rear side. I know for a fact Neil Shipley did not start at Ohio State. He started at James Madison and then he transferred to Ohio State. I want to say Chris Goddard also started at a different school and then finished at OU. So, I mean, there is a market trend of which, you know, just because you don't get signed by a Texas or an OU or one of these top tier golf schools doesn't mean you can't end up at one of them 2 years later.
Oh, exactly, and he knows that, and his dad knows that. I talked to his dad. Uh, that is gonna be the direction he's probably gonna go because now
Yeah.
the whole portal system, the transfer system is so different, so it's easy to do. But, the dad was telling me of within the nation right now, statistically, there's only 30 spots for D1. So the numbers have just gone way down, and the teams, he's saying most of the teams now don't even carry more than 10 players.
Yeah.
So it is really tight. You've just got to be smoking it out there at the state level and all the junior tournaments to get a D1.
Well, and that's kind of where, and now we're really getting off, but that's kind of where
Yeah.
I've slid into on the Poppy Verde side. I started with the sports photography and it's kind of moved into almost helping juniors and seniors create that brand, getting good photography, even some videography, doing these like media days for clubs because with NIL, like a player's brand is just as important as their talent now. And there's not really anyone that's focused on that at a high school level. You get to college and obviously you have all these agents and stuff like that. But like obviously you have your top tier NFL prospects that have support from that. But I was talking to some of the parents that have multiple kids, both genders in the lacrosse club. And they were like, for the girls, for the most part, getting a scholarship, it's not hard, but it's not easy, right? It falls somewhere in between. But for the boys, like it's really hard. And like you have to be on top of sending them highlight reels and pictures and all of this type of stuff that, I mean, these kids aren't equipped to really do. So, Poppy Verde has kind of fallen into that niche of serving that junior senior level with photo and video content just naturally because that's where the demand is. So it's interesting that you're seeing that from a golf side too. Yeah, no, I there's definitely a market there. So it's interesting that even in college you're kind of seeing that. I don't know. I guess it's tougher to have highlight reels in college, or sorry, in golf. Like you're not hitting someone, you're not scoring a goal. So like I guess it's a little bit tougher.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that because I ran into a guy tournament and I've talked to him before. He's a parent that has a kid over in another high school local. He actually comes from the Hollywood production like industry, and his new company is designed to focus on helping kids get noticed and promote themselves through highlight reels, cinematic stuff, website portals, all of that. I don't know if it's golf related, but I think he could do anything. But it's kind of funny you bring that up that he's the only one that I know of that helps high school kids as far as what his niche is right now to get noticed and promoted and put their names out there to send to all the colleges and stuff. And then, like, he even said, he's like, "Oh, yeah, you could send us stuff and we'll clip it and put it all together, or you could have it a upcharge and I can come with a crew and record you as you play or rain
Hmm,
session and put it all together."
that's
Like,
interesting.
wow. But I don't know many other places that do that.
No, I mean I don't think there are many, but there's definitely a market for it for
Mhm.
sure. So well, that's interesting. That's what you're saying as well. But I think to your point, your kids still have time. They could try to get better in the off season and turn it around. Golf is tough in the DFW Metroplex. There's so many good schools and so many good players that it's it's hard to compete.
Well, even at the I mean, pro level, like Scotty, last couple tournaments, outside the one he came back and won the last 2, he was almost dead last or low, almost missed the cut, and then by Saturday, Sunday, he was top 10 or almost top 10.
Yeah, he
So
broke
you
his top 10 streak, but what, got 12th or something like that?
like, you can have off days, it will happen, but it's how you respond and try to
Yeah.
make up for that. But, even if he was hitting them well, I think I forget, it was either AT&T or the other one out, Genesis I was watching. He was getting it there, but his putts just weren't falling.
Yeah.
Like, this happens.
Yeah, putter matters. I mean, we talk about fitting, and we didn't talk a lick about putter fitting, which I know
Mm-mm.
Colin doesn't necessarily do. They partner with Machine for that. So, it's probably why we need to have Machine on this and really talk to them more about the putter fitting process. But man, putter matters. I actually saw a graphic on social media that showed, I want to say, like maybe it was the top 10 players in the world, or maybe it was top 10 that finished in the tournament, whatever it was. All of them had a mallet style putter.
Mm. I think I've seen that. Speaking of putters, Lab are releasing or just released their Link 2 blade style
Oh, really?
with a HS neck.
I'm surprised they're doing that because I don't think the Link did well. Like, I
It's
don't think it
called the
was
Link
received well.
it's like the Link 2.0 or Link Extra.
I'm gonna have to look this up while we're on this podcast here because
Let me
that's
see, like, I just saw it and it I think the one of them is center shaft still, and then the other one is the H
oh, wow. Yeah. So posted on, I'm looking at golf RWX or whatever it's called, GolfWorks, I guess, that
Golfworks.
forum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Link 2.1 and they have heel shafted. Yeah, it looks like a straight blade putter.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah, I found I think as Rick Shields was, like, one of the first ones to pop it up, and
Yeah.
I'm like, "It looks good."
No, it
It's
looks
got
really
a
good.
narrow it's a narrow head and then a little bit wider head. So I'm like,
Yeah, I mean if it's
so
a
it's a
if it's
blade, essentially a blade.
yeah, if it's a blade that's square to square, that's gonna appeal. Okay, so they have two. They have a 2.1 and 2.2. The 2.2 is more of a square back.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if it's a blade that performs square to square, I mean, there's a market for it for sure. Because I personally like a traditional blade putter, but I've just never. I have one, an old school Odyssey, but I don't ever use it because it's never really performed well for me. So I've always ended up with a mallet. I would love to have a blade. I'm not saying I'm gonna go switch my clubs. That ain't gonna happen. But I mean, it would be interesting to try for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm been practicing with that old Odyssey XO7 center shaft, and I like it. It like, when I know I'm off the toe, I feel it, but it still holds a pretty good line. The ball rolls off of it great. I wish the head weight was a little heavier for its design, so I don't know if that's something I just try to add lead tape and customize it, or now that I know I'm getting better feel for this is, like, what I'm looking for, then do I go get a fit and
Mhm.
try to get something more suitable? Like I don't know, whatever we talked about, machine or even
Yeah.
the DF3 that I've said that felt the best with the forward press being with that left hand
Hmm.
low, which is really good. I mean, my pace and my lines are holding really well. It's just I'm like, this is unbelievable. Like how much it's may not have hit every putt. I mean, I haven't hit a ton, but messing around with it, it already shows a difference. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Well,
But yeah, that
how's your ramp up looking to get ready for your tournament? I mean, you're talking about this putter and what putter you're going to use and what grip. How's everything looking?
so I had a range session last week just to get the quirks out. I'm going to the range end of this week to just keep get to try to, get the swing mechanics in routine and more in place. I think I might get another practice round in. I want to get to Heritage, but I don't know if I will on this weekend, maybe Sunday. I don't know. I don't know if we have time. So that's kind of where I'm at. But then, yeah, as the team practices, making sure they're doing their stuff, but then I'll stay after a little bit or like in between, I still keep kind of working on some different things. But right now, I'm probably going to move forward with the X07 center shaft with the left low because it just
Hmm.
it works better for the grip, and I like the forgiveness with the head weight and the design because it's a little bit more
Yeah.
face bounce than the Scotty. So yeah, we'll see. Not too worried about a golf ball. Like I'll probably just stick with the Pro V because I know it's the most consistent I can play with.
Yeah, that brings up a good point. We both did some testing over the winter with different balls. And I'm just gonna end up saying in the Pro V1X, it's just like one, the availability to get it at virtually any pro shop is just very enticing for me. Someone that can barely charge my speaker when I want to go play, just being able to walk into a shop and buy a sleeve of balls is amazing. But it's just always performed the best. So
Yeah, I mean, is it the best ball for me? Maybe, maybe not.
yeah.
But I think I know how it's going to perform. That's the one thing I could say. It's like I know how it's going to feel. I know how it's going to go when I'm obviously not shanking it, but I hit it well. It's like I know what's going to do, especially even on
Well,
the greens. That's
and
the
I
big
think
one.
at our level, we're splitting hairs on what we see out of a change in ball. I think at the pro level, yeah, 300 RPM probably matters. Feel and sound probably matters more. But for us, it's like we're looking at more at tiers, not,
Hmm.
not necessarily X versus non X. Like I can go hit a Pro V1 and a Pro V1X, and within my margin of dispersion, they're going to work fine.
Hmm.
Whichever one I go with. I just personally, if I can get the X, I'm going to get the X. But if I can only get a Pro V1, I'll get a Pro V1.
Yeah.
So we're not that good that those
No.
little nuances matter.
Now the biggest thing I prefer a slightly firmer ball
Mhm.
versus the softer one. I know the triple diamond. I still got a box, I think. I'm gonna use them at some point. They're definitely hard, and I don't like
Yeah.
how hard they feel. So the Pro V1X is just a hair softer, or the Chrome Tour X. I just don't have any of those, and um, I do like the Chrome Tours, but they just feel a little soft for me, and I think they launch a little too much for my what I like to see. But
Yeah.
I don't know, splitting hairs probably.
What was that last part? You cut out for me.
I think I was talking about the Chrome Tour,
Mhm.
and just I think it's a little soft, and I don't quite like the way it flies. I think it flies a little too high for my
Yeah.
my swing.
Yeah.
So I'll just kind of stick with the Pro One X or Chrome Tour X for now until something really jumps out differently. But I don't think there ever will be.
Well, I mean, we have another podcast between now and then. But is there anything that's jumping out at you that you're worried about or making you anxious about the tournament other than it being kind of your first tournament?
Actually, no.
Yeah.
Like because I know it's like oh, it's always nice to go out and win, but I know it's my first one and I'm going through a lot of different things. So I'm going to keep it more realistic with expectations and goals. I think my strategy is just, I know Heritage well enough. I can manage it. I just need to focus on making solid strikes and we'll just see what happens. So it'd be fun. Really looking forward to it. I mean, I'll probably be nervous as hell. Hopefully I don't shank off the first tee.
I don't know what's going on. I'm running a speed test on my side and I'm upwards of 150. So I,
All right.
I
What was the last
honestly
thing you
don't know
got?
if it's you said you would like to get out to Heritage, but you didn't know if you were going to be able to.
Yeah. And then you asked the question of prep or
Oh,
looking
if there's anything you're
forward.
nervous about, you said
And
not
then
really. Yeah, you said not really, and you know that you're not going to really do amazing. Like you're not looking to win. And the only thing I was going to add to that was I think it helps that you're a coach and you see this process, so you kind of like there's nothing that's going to shock you as far as okay, you got to check in, you got to hit balls, you're going to be mixed in with all these other people, and then you got to sign your scorecard after, and blah blah blah. Like none of that is making you anxious, I'm sure, because you see that process for the kids.
yeah. So that'll be all fun. But I think my biggest advantage compared to maybe some of these guys is I've played Heritage a dozen times, so I'm pretty familiar with where to go with
Yeah.
it. just we'll see what nerves feel like on the first couple shots. Who knows? I may pipe one down the middle or hit one into the house.
I have found outside of the tournament you came to, I have found that my first drive of every tournament, I actually hit really well. I don't know what it is, but I'm always generally right down the middle. A lot of times it's because I don't hit driver. I'll pick a different club to hit, whether it's a 4-iron or 7-wood or mini. But that's good. That's good that you're not nervous. So, well, good. Anything else? I know we're trying to keep this one nice, short, sweet, and we're
Yeah,
both been
no, I
busy
think we're in
lately.
a good
So
spot. Yeah, I think this is awesome. Like, caught up with last week, got new directions that we're moving towards and new goals. So I think we're rolling.
perfect. Well, I think this is the first time in our podcast history that you're playing a little bit more golf than I am. So that's a good thing.
I think so. At least one of us is trying to represent right now.
Yeah. I'm practicing every week. I just haven't touched a golf ball outside since I think 7 weeks ago. I've practiced and I've been good about getting 3-4 hours of practice in at IGP. I'm just not actually hitting a ball in the elements. So it is what it
Oh
is.
man.
I'll find some time sooner than later, get outside and play.
Yeah,
But
you'll get there.
perfect. All right, man. Well, good. As always, everyone, give us a like, listen, and a follow on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple. And we'll be back next week. Jason, see you later.
Mm-hmm. See ya.